good evening, my good people out there and this virtual land, whatever it is. But I want to welcome you guys back to Let's Talk, and for all you new guys, thanks for joining us. So welcome to Let's Talk today. But before I give us our topic, here at Let's Talk, we like to talk about issues that matter to you. So we come up with workable and practical solutions so we have more action and less talk. I'm your host, Jason. As you can see today, we don't have my co-host with me. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but we can find out in a minute. I'm joined today by two illustrious gentlemen. Let's first start off with Mr. Wildcat. Let him introduce himself.
I just want to, first and foremost, to all the dads out there, I just want to say, Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. I just want to let you guys know that you are doing a good job. All right? But my name is Sidney Ballard, and I am a teacher by profession. I am a mechanic by tradesman. I'm a coach by sports, athletics. I wear so many hats, but I am glad to be here today.
Awesome. And then we have the gentleman in the middle joining us.
Well, my name is Ben Ferguson Jr. I'm an educator, I'm a visual artist, and an entrepreneur. And just like Mr. Ballard said, I want all men to know that you matter. Beyond Father's Day.
Awesome. And I guess you know by now what this topic is. We kind of alluded to it. We get the studio is filled with men. So our topic today is life through the eyes of a man. And we're coming off the heels of Father's Day. So again, like the gentleman just wished everybody, all the men out there, a happy belated Father's Day. Men, you matter. In spite of what they may say out there, we ain't gonna say who they are. But they like to marginalize and minimize the men in society, like to try to allude that we are not necessary or just try to minimize what we bring to the table. But we're going to address all of that today. We're going to address the issues that men face, and hopefully we have an air. So before we jump into it, we would like you guys to comment and the chat, and we'll read your comments off live, or give us a call at 352-8255. 352-8255. Life through the eyes of a man. Now, Father's Day had just passed, right? And I don't know, you guys could probably tell me, how did y'all feel about it? Compare the energy to Mother's Day. I know it's no comparison, right? But is it getting better in celebration of fathers, or in your eyes, is getting worse, or is just staying the same? Anyone jump in?
Well, I'll go first then. It's obvious that fathers do not get as much praise as mothers. And over time, I've learned different possible reasons why. But just as how we see, even though he's talking to my father, he's driving on the road, he's like, look, there's no stands, nothing on the side of the road with people trying to sell stuff for fathers when he's riding through downtown in some areas. Because we know certain places are just riddled and stacked with stuff for Mother's Day. But that's just on the marketing side of it, and I was like, maybe because men don't really go for baskets like that. Right. So that's why they have the sales at the hardware stores. Right. And then at the restaurants, they have certain Father's Day meals and so forth. But when it comes to the energy in which people do towards their fathers, you don't hear much people getting excited about doing something for their father for Father's Day, or you may hear it in church, oh, let's honor the men.
Right.
But like outside, it's less.
Yes, agreed.
Yes, and I agree with that 100%. I was driving around too on Saturday looking like, where the baskets are, you know what I mean? They can put some manly things in the basket as well. Sure. Yeah. We don't have to get tie in boxes all the time, socks, because we don't give that to the ladies. Get, you understand what I'm saying? And we can't give them no underwear and just candy and things. They'll throw that stuff at us. But I do think the energy level is really low for Father's Day. I really don't think that culture, society, celebrate men as we ought to. We don't affirm men, they don't big us up, they don't tell us that we're doing a good job, and a lot of times they just ostracize us and tell us the bad that we do. And we do have some men out there that's really doing good. Now, as for, as you say, if it's getting better, a little. It's getting better a little, especially to the church aspect of it. The church is really doing a good job of trying to promote the good men in society. The church is really trying to teach us how to be good fathers and put us up there on the pedestal where we ought to be, telling us, what a father is, how fatherhood works and stuff like that. So it's getting better. It's not where it ought to be, but I really think it's getting better.
Good.
We're on the right track.
Good stuff. Mr. Producer, if you have that picture queued up, if you just flash that on the screen for a couple of seconds so our viewers could see this picture. And this was floating around on social media. And I wanted to just say, yeah, that's just social media, But to me, I felt this. I felt this, right? Okay, Mr. Producer, thank you so much. Viewers, I hope you got a good look at that, because we don't want to keep Rocco BJ, We want him to get his time, his air time.
Right.
But I saw that, and I'm wondering if that's by design or why that is. Because let me say this. Let me clarify this. Men don't make so much of a fuss about getting recognized. Women do. And that may be why mothers do get promoted so much, because women do make sure they are seen and heard. Men, we are the unsung heroes. We don't look for the accolades, even though we want it. And that might be to our detriment. I speak for myself. My children, I don't ever put them in a position to make them feel like they have to do it. Even though I may want them to do it.
Right.
I don't kill them or pressure them into doing it.
Right.
So I would sit back and just hope they do it, right?
Right.
Whereas the mother, not saying that she does it, but she may do it. Hey, y'all better do this for me. Birthday's coming up, they would make sure to remind them so that they don't forget. Their mothers would make sure to go above and beyond so that the children remember what they are doing. Fathers, not so much. Mm-hmm. So are we being forgotten or not recognized as much because we don't put ourselves out there, or we don't remind them, or we don't say, hey, we want it? Because we, as men, a lot of us like to go it alone. Men don't cry, and we just suffer in silence, and we like to pretend as if everything's okay. So the children may just feel, well, daddy, okay, he don't need it. Mm-hmm. So do you think we put ourselves in that position, or no, the children just, or children and the wives just forgetting us?
Well, we kind of put ourselves in that situation because, like on a regular, Father's Day generally falls on a Sunday. And, Sunday we want to just chill, sit in our chair like they had the guy doing just now, you watching football or basketball. For us, that's success.
Right.
That's our comfort zone. So a lot of times, just like you say, we really don't want the gifts and we don't want the accolades, and we don't really need for all the glamorous, fancy stuff. Give us a good meal, show us that you love us, and be happy. Now, mind you, let me give you an example. I think I went all out for my wife on Mother's Day, my mother and my sister, but mainly I stick on my wife. I went all out for her, and I told her, I said, listen, you don't have to buy me a gift for Father's Day. I know that you love me, I know that you care. You don't have to buy a gift. So Saturday, I said, where you going? She said, I ain't going out. I coming right back in an hour. So I knew that she went to go get me a gift. When she came in, she called my daughter, right? But it so happened that my daughter ended up putting it on speakerphone, so she messed it up. So she was like, come downstairs for the gift. I want you to hide it and then give it to him.
Oh.
Right? So she was like, Mommy, I have it on speakerphone. I can hear you. So, she came, she got me the gift and stuff like that. And, they said Happy Father's Day. Now, mind you, I was happy.
Yeah.
Because, I got a gift.
Yeah.
I felt good that they got a gift, that they recognized me. They told me Happy Father's Day. But if they didn't give it to me,
right,
I wouldn't have mind. So we kind of do put ourselves in a situation. And I guess because we do it, the children see it, and then it becomes a regular thing. Oh, but daddy say he ain't want a gift like that.
Right.
He ain't got to do this for him. As long as he get the remote, he happy. So, but we do want gifts, even though we don't say it. It would be nice. He ain't got to be expensive, but we do want the gifts. We do like the hugs and the affirmation and stuff like that from our children, from our spouses. So, man, we do want it.
Yes.
Don't mind us playing tough and hard like we don't want it. We want it.
Agreed. You got it. Weigh in on
Yeah,
that?
I agree on it. Men on the whole just prefer that you, despite us saying no, like you show some effort of gratitude to show that we appreciate it, you know, because one of the ways in which men really thrive off the people around them is how you handle our ego, how you praise us.
Yes.
So if that is an oh, let me take them out even though they don't want to, it don't work for every man. Or let me get them this something even though they say they don't want nothing. Or you do little things and just to show that you appreciate still. Like still says to us, all right, they get it.
Yeah.
You know? So it's the words that we're not saying behind the words that we're saying is what we expect people to do. Because you don't want to, like you say, force people to say something.
Right.
You know, or do something. You want them to do it out of kindness and the love of their heart.
Right.
Right.
Welcome to Let's Talk Caller. You are live.
Yeah, evening, Jason. Everything good?
Everything's good, man.
I just tuned in, but I wonder if anyone had the opportunity to mention that if you look at the difference between Mother's Day and Father's Day.
We did kind of allude to it. In fact, that's what you're coming on the heels on. That's what we're talking about right now. We had up a picture of this. It was a split picture. A mother was at the top, and they had all the gifts around her, and everyone is around us just celebrating her. While at the bottom picture, on Father's Day, the guy is sitting in a chair by himself, looking at the phone, and the phone is just saying, Happy Father's Day. So it's a stark contrast between the two celebrations.
But caller, what say you? What do you say about the contrast between Mother's Day and Father's Day? What's your point of view?
Of course, you can see equally defined fare is different. The attention and focus, men or fathers, you don't get the same kind of respect or attention or focus that the mothers get, you know, and it doesn't matter how good of a father you are, it's the same thing. You know, I'm pretty sure you all mentioned that on Mother's Day on the side of the road, you will see all kind of baskets and balloons and remember back in the day, we had those, thank God for Mama gospel concerts.
Yes.
And on Father's Day, it is not the same. You know, I'm over here in Nassau, and the same thing I see in Nassau, I see in Report, you know, only crab on the side of the road.
Yes, it. Crab selling. Father's Day coming up. That's how you know Father's Day coming.
That's all we see. You know, for some reason, we don't get the same level of respect and attention.
But caller, I said that, and I noticed that as well, right? But I said that. Do you think that's all on the children and the mother's side, or do we as fathers play into that? Because you know, mothers would make a fuss. You know, they'd make sure that they're remembered. They'd make sure that they're recognized. Whereas fathers, we kind of sit to the back. You know, we don't make a fuss. If we get it, we get it. If we don't get it, we don't get it. You know, so men are taught not to cry, not to complain, not to say anything. Just
no, we don't complain. We just roll with the punches. We make the sacrifices as a man, and I guess that's our society. That's our society is press off.
Right. Okay, caller. You have anything else to add?
Well, we gotta keep men in prayer, you know, because the enemy, he's trying to take out all the men. You know, if you go to church, you'll notice that 85% of the church is made up of women. Think about it. I've been in the church from Bimini, Abaco, Inagua, Nassau. And Abaco, I've been at Freeport, because I grew up in Freeport. Everywhere you go in the Bahamas, even if you look on TV, you're always going to see more women in church than you see men. So, the enemy looks like he's trying to take out men.
Definitely, that's his plan.
Men are being killed, right? And we're supposed to be the head. So, you know, we got to keep our country covered, pray for men, because that's where the enemy is attacking.
Most definitely.
So I'll try to listen in and let you all continue.
Thank you so much, caller. Call us anytime. Always appreciate your input.
All right. Yeah.
As the man goes, so goes the country. That's how the saying goes anyway. So we'll take a commercial break and we'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
Yo, what's up, Bahamas? My name is Andrew Williams, aka Cat,
And I'm your boy Mix.
and we're representing Off the Bench, the #1 talk sportcast in the Bahamas.
In the world, my boy.
My bad partner. So
Yeah.
we cover anything sports throughout the Bahamas. We cover our Bahamian athletes wherever they are, and they're making waves in sports. We cover them.
Hey, just tune in to us every Wednesday here on Superior Talk at 6 o'clock p.m.
The
Sharp.
the #1 talk show
In the world.
in the world.
Craig.
And we're back. Thank you guys for sticking around with us. And we're talking about life through the eyes of a man. And Brother Sid got something he wanted to weigh in on.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on the caller. He was talking about men being taken out. I just wanted to just highlight that a little bit, and it's so true because the Bible says that the enemy comes to do what? To kill, steal, and destroy. And if we look back in the Bible from Moses' time, they try to take all the boys out from them. And even back when Jesus was around, they try to take all the boys out from them. So that's not a new thing. The enemy been trying to do that, take man out of their rightful position.
Yes.
But another comment is that I just want to touch on something that Ben talked about when he's talking about men and affirming men and stuff like that. I just want to say something to the ladies. Ladies, if it's, it doesn't have to be Father's Day. If it's a day where we at the house and we chilling and we got some of our friends over, and sometimes we as men, we egotistical and we could, kind of show off a little bit, I suppose. Say, well, it's our home, it's our den, so we feel some type of way. So if we say, for example, well, listen, I was a sports addict and I was a superstar, and we say, right, babe, and I asking you to affirm me. You're supposed to affirm me. Tell me he's telling me.
That's right.
Yeah.
Big him up.
Yeah.
Big him
You know
up.
what I mean? That's what I was. That's who I am, Now, even if it might be stretching the truth a little bit, but it's making me feel special.
Yes.
And guess what? When you make me feel special like that, guess what I can do in return? I can make sure
That's
you feel
right.
special.
Straight
Now,
up.
if you have a problem with it, like after friends them go, you be like, honey, now you kind of
Yeah,
stretch
yeah.
the truth a little bit and
Afterwards.
thing, and then you say that, then I'd be like, yeah, baby, but I had to say it because I had to get my point across. But don't ever make me look bad in front of my in my house.
Yeah, no.
Around my
Oh, no.
that's not a good
Quickest way to push a man away.
Yeah, man. You shut us down like that,
So I have a comment here from one of my commenters said, if you make your wife and children feel like it's not a big deal, then they won't make a big deal by your request. This is not saying they don't love and appreciate you. Say what y'all want and stop being cute, sucker teeth.
That sounds like a female.
You know that.
That sound like a female
But it's the
word.
same way. It's the same way with women. Like we'll ask y'all what y'all want to eat. Do you want to go? No. No, yeah, I know what I want to eat. Oh, I want to eat this, and then when you get it, they mad.
Right.
And then they say in the end, well, you should have known what I like and what I don't like. You guys do the same thing, man. When they say that the phone stopped. All right, but it's the same way. We actually mean that we don't want the gifts. We mean that, right? But if you do get it, it would make us feel appreciated.
Right.
That's all we saying. That's all we're saying. Even if we don't get the gifts, if you say, man, happy Father's Day, Dad, we love you. You're doing a good job in the home. We love how you provide for us. We love how you take care of us. You do stuff like that, man. That's what matters.
That's the key.
all what
Overwhelming
matters.
love.
Yeah.
If you don't got it to give it, show it, say it, repeatedly. It's just like the scene nigga when we were trying to win a woman over, right? We would say certain things throughout the day and stuff to get, to where we want to go. But the person with the woman, the giant, get them to understand, hey, I want you. And if you do the same thing with the man, but just saying, hey, I see what you do, I understand, I appreciate it, you this and you that. You just watch things blossom. Watch what comes out of him.
Yes. Welcome to Let's Talk, caller. What do you have to say about this topic, life through the eyes of a man?
Jason.
Yeah, Vito, what you saying?
Boy, so I guess Sharon ain't even on the show. I would have not sharing the baby.
I serious. I'm waiting for the call in.
Mind up in. And then I was just talking with Jason Young and his DNP. They was supposed to be on one of our topics tomorrow on option.
Right.
Because he was like, wait, Father's Day. All right. See, we can speak from this other perspective. Because you're talking in terms of like a home father, like marriage and all that. He gets any single father.
That's
Right.
And I guarantee you, every father with a child outside, they is wonder who they check. Don't let their baby movie be with somebody else. Because you be one of them, that child tell them, happy Father's Day.
Oh wow.
Right then. And then
Wow.
on top of that, as men, yeah, we need recognition. Like, if you could be on that, you could be on that same age. Y'all the men quick to say, you're a bad guy, you're a bad father. All right. Highlight the mom when they doing a good job.
Yep.
I can be with you. My ex-wife, she texted me. This is the first Father's Day I ever got a message from her. And I ain't reading this alone, but I can read it probably tomorrow. But I always want to catch my eyes.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I was not expecting that. Like, her to acknowledge me and say how great of a father I am to her kids. And even to her daughter that isn't mine. And I literally was like, that humbled me. And it had me, it made me feel good. So I feel like, man, it ain't nothing to do with these so-offs, but we need recognition. We
Most
need
definitely.
That's how we done. To say, hey, you're doing a good job.
Yes.
Hey, listen, I said something like this yesterday in church, like how you talking about affirmation. You know, when I look at God himself, when Jesus was baptized, he said to the people in this voice, he said, listen, behold, this is my beloved son, in whom I am well pleased.
Yeah.
So even God affirmed and
right.
big up us per se, Jesus is his own son. So you're right, brother. We need affirmation
But
as
guess
well.
what? And but you always remember, God is asking to honor him, though.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and he advised us, me as us as men, if we want to be highlighted, and to tell you, to be honest with you, Father's Day was a shambles. Where you find Robin Road? There was no crowd there.
I didn't see much. I didn't see much.
But hey, they looking for basket. Even crowd wasn't even selling.
Shoot. So you know when the crowds decrease, you know Father's Day getting, and you know what I'm saying? And I was wondering though before I go, in my years being on this earth, I actually have seen in the recent years, I've seen more fathers step up and that are actors. There's just not a highlight on it.
Yep.
You understand? We focus on the things that are not there, but I actually think when you go to them schools to pick up, you have a lot of fathers picking up. You have a lot of fathers, and I can attest to that. So I just want us to kind of like, you know, if we paying attention, you will see like where it starts to actually go up there. A lot of fathers, they actually being in their kids' life, whether they with the woman or not. You know what I mean? But I can go on that note.
Thank you very much, Vito. Really appreciate it.
And even on that aspect where you're talking about fathers, school pickups and stuff like that, you know, because I'm a high school teacher. So when I see fathers coming in and picking up report cards and stuff like that,
Right.
because it does happen,
Right.
I affirm them. I say, listen, I'm so happy to see this. This is what I want. When they come and they talk to me as a homeroom teacher, a co-homeroom teacher, or a subject teacher, they talk to me, I engage them too, and I let them know, man, this is a good thing. Now, don't just let it be this one time.
Don't be
Keep
right.
coming, man. Keep encouraging your son. Any of them school events, you come with him.
Right.
You know what I mean? You show him support. You know, I can see some of the fathers, them, that they appreciate that.
Right.
You understand what
Definitely.
they're saying? Yeah, and the fathers that are in their sons' lives or in their children's life tend to be more successful.
But they have stats that show that, you know.
Yep. Yep.
That when they have present fathers, they're less likely to do drugs, less likely to be high school dropouts, they're less likely to end up in prison, they're less likely to have teenage pregnancies. It's all around more wholesome when fathers are in the home. And then the stats also reflects that single fathers fare just as well as both parents in the home
Right.
when compared to single mothers.
Yep.
Right? Not knocking single mothers, but that's just stats.
I literally just heard that today on something I was listening to.
Yeah, so it's just the enemy. It's just the plan of the enemy to take men out, right? If you don't break into somebody else, you got to get rid of the strong man.
Yep.
You got if you don't get into anywhere, you got to get rid of the gatekeeper. Men are the gatekeeper, so it's the design by the enemy to take men out. That's all it is. We as men too often have been only valued by what we could bring. And if we ain't bringing nothing, they like to diminish us and say we ain't no man. But do you imagine you telling a woman she ain't deserving of love unless she proves she's
Yeah.
deserving of it? You know how ridiculous they'll say that, but then they'll say they ain't gonna respect the man until he prove that he's worth respecting, or
Yep.
unless he's doing for his child, or unless he's doing, providing some tangible stuff. You have some women out there that they would actually go to they'd be so bold as to say, he don't deserve to see his child unless he bring in something, material things.
Right.
As if that's the only thing
That
we got to give to our children.
Yeah.
You know, so, man, we gotta wise up and not allow the enemy, because the women being used, if any woman say that she's being used by the enemy to try to make us feel worse, we gotta know within ourselves that we worth something. We more than just what we could bring.
Exactly.
No, God called us to be men, right? And He give us a heavy title, and He equipped us to do it. It's just that the enemy make us feel that we can't do it. And as far as, we might not say we don't want the gifts and all that stuff, and which is true, like you said, we don't want the gifts, no, but what we do want is to be recognized, to say, you doing a good job.
Yes, sir.
Hey, dog, good job, good job.
Yes, sir.
That
Yes, sir.
goes a long way. For women, you want, both Sydney and BJ mentioned it. You want to really get us to do what you want us to do? Stroke our ego.
Yes, sir.
And by stroking our ego, I mean you telling us something false, You know that we're doing a good job. Say you see us doing a good job. Say you see our effort. Mind you, I wrapping up. I mean, that's in my wrap. I jumping ahead. So let's get back into life through the eyes of a man. What do you see? What's negative? What's really killing a man? What is killing the man out there? Not physically, but really killing men not to be men. What in your eyes, what do you think is really negatively impacting the view of men out there?
I think the absence of men in the home sometimes, and then sometimes it's a give or take situation depending on, because each scenario is different. Because it could be something where the mother never tells the father, or the father wasn't sure, or the mother been with several different partners and stuff like that. But the absence of a father in the home, that brings sometimes a negative connotation to the situation where persons really look at man as, oh, look at him, he ain't providing, he ain't taking care of the home. Oh, but you got this other child or this other person that you providing and giving and showing all this love for, but you have this child right here that you ain't providing and doing nothing for. So absence is one thing.
I think another thing is the right guidance, because sometimes you may not be getting enough guidance on the right things to do, even after you've done mistakes. And then it's also might not get it, or you might just be getting the wrong voices in your head. So the same repetitive cycle that some men would have walked, like you see it and you saying, all right, this is the way it gotta be. This is what it gotta do too. And don't worry about, I ain't gotta worry about that and their feelings and stuff like that. So I think a part of that, then there's pride, because that's a big thing with men. Holding on to things, unforgiveness as well, because you don't want to let some things go, or you don't want to admit that you haven't let something go, something go. So it's a few things that you have to dig into, and I think it's some things that are actually passed on, whether we know about it or not.
Yes.
As much as people, women definitely, you just like your pa, people, you just like your daddy. So it's like that, sometimes that internal battle, like when you try not to be like the bad or disappointing sides of a man that came before you, which you came from, like you seed of, like trying to fight that battle, not being like that, and then also still at the same time trying to still be you.
Right.
So I think it's a lot of stuff from outside and inside that we need to be able to talk about more oftenly, and I wouldn't say openly, but with the right people or with the right men who can guide us and help us walk through it. Because it ain't gonna happen just like that.
Right.
But if we have somebody to journey with us
Yeah.
in the right space, that we can be nourished
Mentor.
and to understand exactly, okay, the way I'm thinking now, the way I thought was wrong. Here are the next steps to make it good for the long run.
And we don't know how to say I'm sorry or I'm wrong, man. You know, or I don't know the answer to this thing. We
don't
trying
know.
to figure it out.
Yeah.
We could say we don't know and then try to find the answer.
So we have to take another. This topic could go on and on and on because
Very
it's a
much
deep
so.
topic. Because men don't usually have a platform to air their feelings or how they think. You know, it's just usually around the bar room or, you know. But we can continue this conversation after this commercial break, and I promise we can get to your comments.
You asked and I delivered. Island-ish is back. The podcast you guys have known to love, to like to call in, to like to interact with. We are officially back. For the ones that don't know me, this is your girl Yams. Hearing me on Mix 102.1 FM or your favorite TGF_Yams. With the 2 S's, we're back with Island-ish right here on Superior Talk. So make sure you're following the page. We're going live this Thursday, 6 p.m. Don't miss it. Follow us. It's about to get lit.
So welcome back to Let's Talk. Life through the eyes of a man. And I've been whipped just now saying I don't read comments. So we can jump right into the comments. So, Mr. Producer, if you could put them up on the screen. That's why she in the studio, but then she will be the face on the comment. Anyway, good evening, guys, Cheryl says. Good evening, all. Great to see all of these new faces. Yes, Miss Cheryl. P-Lord says, Father's Day came and went, while Mother's Day was highly recognized as usual. Mother's Day was like a week-long event.
Yeah.
It's feeling like a
Father's Day was
month.
like an hour.
Yeah.
Jay Jones says Mother's Day has turned into a marketing scheme. Oh, definitely.
Yes.
'Cause they like
Learn that.
change,
'Cause
and they know that.
Yeah.
Cheryl says, I tell my kids that I deserve a present because kids are naturally absorbed. Yeah? You deserve a present. Their dad, on the other hand, told them not to worry about him. But then, that's the thing, you should encourage them just how you want it, just how she wants it. She should say, give it for your dad, you know? Jay Jones says, looking from the perspective of the marketing and commercial aspect, most things are geared towards women because they are the ones catered to in society. That's true. Women like things. If you want it, stop saying you don't want it. Shake my head, just like a P-Lord says, but then when the men say they want it, the women say stop acting like a woman. That is so true.
So.
That is so true. Only women want things. Oh, here we go. Miss Priska, we missed you last week, Priska. More mothers get recognition because more mothers play more active. Now listen. Anyway, I'll read it as she said. The views, the comments are not of the view. No, they say. Anyway, I don't support it, but I can read it. More mothers get recognition because more mothers play a more active role in their children's lives than fathers. Plain and simple, I do not agree with that. If more fathers want more, then more need to step up.
That's the same
Again?
thing you were saying.
Yeah.
What a sec. Oh.
I disagree. There are equally bad mothers out there. Yes,
We
sir.
don't talk about that.
Yeah. Watch the men come with the excuses. No excuses, no excuses, just truth. At Priska, these two always going at each other. So what about the toxic mothers that aren't stepping up and getting celebrated under the same umbrella?
Wow. Good comment.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the grandmothers are the ones who are actually doing
Yeah, that's right. The
For
grandmothers
those.
covering for those mothers, right?
Right.
But they don't say that.
right.
Because a lot of children coming up on the Grammy. Mommy on the street, right with daddy. But they ain't gonna say nothing about that. Pilot said it's called a double standard and bias. Facts. Priska says, and your opinion would be wrong as usual. There are way more bad fathers than mothers. I disagree.
Well, now this is where we get to talk about it because I guess I don't think it was just ideal before I came on the show. I was listening to some things, a round table of different fathers too, younger fathers, and they were saying that one of the things you will find is that there's this perpetuation of this loudness of absentee fathers, bad fathers that we see in the videos, in the
Yes.
movies, social media, and especially with the
Promoted.
black man. Like there's a
promoted, yes.
narrative that is being set up for us to think that there's so much more that out there than
Right.
it is. You know, for instance, it's just like how I see on my phone a lot of people just dancing in the public, right?
Right.
You know, just doing TikToks. I say, all right, when I go to the States, I sure I guarantee to see one.
Yeah.
I was over there for a little bit and I didn't even see not a one.
No.
I was hella surprised. So that made me think, okay, maybe there aren't a lot of people dancing in the public as I thought. Or because of my phone, this is what it being shown me
Yes.
all along. So what I was fed through my eyes and through my ears formed this whole thought that is reality.
Right.
But that's the same thing for fathers and with men.
Pushing an agenda.
Because we aren't saying it and glorifying it or being on the cameras doing all these good things, doesn't mean that it is not there in
being done.
abundance.
Right.
So the noise in the market is being perpetuated of the negativity for men.
But you must have read the comment, or you two
No,
are
I
thinking the
even-
same thing. You didn't read the comment, but
No.
he's saying the same thing. The narrative about more men are not stepping up has been overstated and inaccurate at this point. If that's the case, then what about the toxic mothers? So both of you guys are saying the same thing. They are painting a picture
Right.
that's not true, just to suit their narrative. You know, they have this narrative that, you know, the whites used to say that all blacks are thugs and thieves and we're ignorant and uneducated. We know that's not the case.
Right.
You know, and then you have this also, if you watch social media, the majority of black young women are out there just being nasty, promoting lewdness. But we know that's not the case.
Right.
But if you go according to social media, you think that all black young ladies are there being nasty, right? But anyway, I'll hold my thought. Welcome to Let's Talk, caller. You're live. What you got to say about the topic?
They doing Christian Gorski and the going back.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Listen to me. Listen, Jesus. And I'm glad that you're going to talk about because it is a fact that there are so many single fathers out there that doing a way better job.
Yes.
Men, they just don't. In fact, we don't talk about the ladies who just had babies, and in a few weeks or 2 weeks, they out every night.
Clubbing.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna talk about that.
Don't
Where the baby
understand
is.
Yeah, where the baby is.
And then some of them don't even know who the daddy is. They ain't gonna talk about that.
They ain't know who the right daddy is. Why we don't talk about that?
Because we ain't gonna talk about it. We are men.
You understand? You don't even, they don't want to talk about the men who actually, who bring up the child without the mommy then. In fact, Sydney, how long you know me?
For a long time. When we was young.
Your mommy?
Nope. To be
Exactly.
honest with you, nope.
But we don't sit down and talk about it. We don't talk about it. The other being all the night when she was a baby. So you have fathers on there who taking care of these kids where mothers are delinquent.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's a fact. So when these ladies say things like that, you do because we highlight you. Just like how we highlight Mother's Day, we highlight.
Right.
But we don't talk about the ladies, the negative aspect of the mothers. Those mothers.
No.
Lord, trust me. I can go on that one. That kind of thing is a love.
Yeah. And
It's personal.
I know what you mean, Vito, because guess what? If you are a good father and hearing this rocks being thrown at you, and you know a lot of good fathers, then it would upset you. But
Exactly. That
but
upset
it's-
me. I promise you, that upset me.
Yeah.
I know a lot of fathers out there without the mommy who will do what they have to do. You understand what I'm
Yes.
saying? So when they come across like that, I have to say something.
Yes.
When I go on that note.
yeah, thanks, Vito.
You know what their reply would be when they hear that? Instead of outrightly disregarding that, they're gonna say, yeah, but that's only like 1% of men.
Yeah.
They
can
always push it down,
minimize it.
suppress it. Yes.
And you know what's so crazy with the Prisca lady, like even though she maybe it seems as if that she attacking men and stuff, we still aren't attacking her.
No.
In a way, we just trying to let
A balance.
Right,
See that as a balanced view.
That because it's men still doing a good job.
They are.
A lot of men, married men, single men, divorced men in general. You know what I mean?
Let me get back to the comments because they say I don't read comments. Priscilla says the fathers that deserve to be recognized were. It's just that not enough deserve to be recognized, and men have a problem with that. Anyway, welcome to Let's Talk, caller. You're live. Yeah, go ahead, caller.
Hello?
Go ahead. Turn your TV off in the background. Just listen to the phone caller.
Yes, hi.
Hi.
Jason, this is BS. Anyway, I don't have to say who I am. Now, here's what I have a problem with.
Go ahead.
Don't mind hearing you guys. We want to hear guys talk. We want to hear from your heart. but you don't have to mention, you don't have to put women down, you don't have to mention anything about women, what they're not doing, in comparison to guys. You can speak from your heart without mentioning anything about women at all. And that's what we want to hear. And I think as it relates to Prisco, maybe that's a pet peeve too, because you can talk about the challenges of men without ever even mentioning women.
And Cheryl, that is true, right? But that's the problem, right? Because y'all want us to do it your way rather than just doing it the way it should be done, right? She could attack. Wait, hold on.
It should be done.
Okay.
But it's our way. It's not our way.
Okay, she attacks, right? We're not attacking women. We're just stating that, okay, just how you're bringing highlight to bad men, because that's what she's doing, we're saying there's equal amount of bad women. And that's all we're saying. We're not attacking women. We're just trying to keep it balanced, but y'all don't want us to mention women at all. So don't mention men at all then.
We're not mentioning men. The show
Really?
is about looking at life through the eyes of men, and we're here to
And
hear
this is part-
from
and this is part of the
eyes
problem.
men. We don't want to hear anything about women. We already know the stats and the facts about women.
Cheryl,
That's
this is
all
part
I'm
of the
saying.
problem. And this is life through a man's eye because we're being marginalized, being attacked,
Always
and
attacked.
undervalued, not appreciated. And this is part of it. This is part of it right here. And rather than celebrating, we're talking about men. Celebrating what we want. What's going to happen? Oh, what about the bad men? What about it? So the topic about the bad men is still being brought up. Why?
All we
I'm
trying
not
to do.
bringing up any bad men. I am just saying, for me, I just want to hear from the guys, their perspective. And I like what you guys are talking about Father's Day and how you see things. And a lot of times men don't share with the woman in their lives or the woman in their homes. You talk about it in the bar room, you talk about it in the sports clubs or whatever. So this is a forum where we get to hear from you things that you don't tell us, the things that we should know.
Okay.
And that's why I'm saying you are. I would like to say you're devaluing the conversation by making comparisons to women. We want to hear from the kings.
Okay, Cheryl. Part of our problem is hearing that from women then. That's one of our problems, hearing that. Always being marginalized, always being undervalued. When we're starting to big up men, then women, some women, now start to bring up the bad men rather than just keeping the topic on good men. That's part of the problem.
Cheryl, listen, Cheryl, just listen to what you're saying. The show is looking at it through the eyes of a man, right? And we're here telling you what it is we want. Affirmation, love, care, to be, hold on, listen, to be big up and all this stuff like that.
Right.
And here it is. You still calling in and you saying what it is that you want to hear from us,
Rather than just talking.
Yes.
rather than just listening to what we have to say. We are if you want to we want to go deep. We trying to go deeper, but we just trying to address some of the little simple core issues that we have that cause some of the situations. Yeah, we could go in and talk. What you want to talk about? Our love life, how much women we being with, and all this stuff. We trying to get there. We're trying to get there.
All I said is, I don't want to hear anything about women.
Oh my gosh, Cheryl. Thank you very much, Cheryl.
Let me ask a question before she go, right? Let me ask a question before you go. All right, so when you came on the phone, right? There was very little good that you spoke of first before you came with the criticism or the critique. And that's one of the things we face as men too. That's why some men don't even come home. Because the minute they walk through the door, they're getting bombarded. You need to do this. You need to do it this way. I think you should do this. No, let's see.
Trouble listening.
Allow me to speak. So one of the rules of engagement or ways to get to the heart of the man and to get them to where you will love them to be, not where you want them to be right now, is to approach differently, deliver differently. All right, so you can get across your point better and smoother. Now, you had mentioned that we attacked women. We were just responding to something that was posted by a woman several times in the comment. And we were trying to allude to the fact that she is attacking bad fathers. That is also bringing about the fact that we are not dealing so much with bad fathers. We're trying to highlight the men, the unsung heroes, those who are being grouped in those baskets of bad men all because we're not saying things out loud that I am a good man. See me do this. I'm not posting on social media, I doing this with my daughter or my son or for the child of the woman I'm not with anymore. So that's all we're saying. That we had to bring some connection that where there is a king, there will oftentimes be a queen.
Yep.
And if a queen would love to be treated like a queen, she also has to recognize that the king has to be treated like a king. That's all I have to say.
As I was saying,
She hear none of that.
saying,
Go ahead.
no. Jason, please. As I was saying, we want to hear you. And just like you said just now, that's what we want to hear. We want to hear that rich content. And usually, when you talk, when you compare, you bring stuff up about women, bad mothers and stuff like that. We hear stuff like that all the time. And we don't hear the rich content from men that we ought to hear. And that's why I said, I would prefer not to hear the stuff in comparison to women because it takes away from what it is that you are saying. So even if there's a comment on, we don't have to focus on all of the negative comments. There's a lot more things that you can say.
So directly, I'm going to ask you this. You say you want to hear from us. What is it exactly, what areas that you want to hear from us, men, so we can answer that?
No, you guys are on. You guys are on a good roll. I'm just saying, let's not get distracted. You guys were on a good roll with the things that you were saying.
You
I
know,
just don't want you to get
Call us to bring us back in
distracted
line.
with all that
Okay.
other stuff.
you know what would have been good? I know you're trying to bring a little bit of controversy to the conversation, but you know
I am
what
not.
you know what would have been good? You know what would have been good? If you had called in and complimented us from the jump and tell us we're doing a good job
And
and,
just
you're
leave it
proud
at
of
that.
us,
And
and
just
then
leave it
get
at
in, you watch what we would have said, how we would have gone.
And just leave it.
You should try that approach the next
Your
time.
next
right?
time.
Try that approach
Thank you,
the next
Sharon.
time, right?
Thanks, David. Hang this on.
This is Steve, right? She's in there, right?
she's in there.
She's in there, right? Listen, I'm comfortable
Carry
here.
on.
I'm comfortable with that.
See, this is, and Cheryl, you could just stay on to respond because we don't mind having you here unless Mr. Producer, I hope you have call waiting. But anyway, if we don't, we keep Cheryl right there because she'll be the fourth guest. Cheryl, this is one of the problems men have, right? We want to do our job. We think we're doing our job, but then again, women want men to be men when they want them to be men.
Right.
You know?
To control men.
You want us to be assertive, you want us to be in control, you want us to be protective and all this, but do it not
your turn.
right on
You're running on. You're running out. No, you're running on. No. You and B. Lord B.
Cheryl, this is life through the man's eye. I'm telling you a life through, and you telling me no, I'm wrong. You see?
It's been this way for life, Jared.
No, in this context, you are wrong in this context. I'm sure that has happened. I'm sure that happens many times. But I'm saying in this context, you're wrong. That is not what I'm trying to do. As a matter of fact, I thought what I said was positive. I don't know how, but of course, Jason, this is you. You can turn anything out into something else.
Well, I have two other guys here who didn't see it as that, so we carry on.
That's fine. But I'm saying, all I said was, I just didn't want to hear the stuff, the stuff regarding comparing to women or whatever.
Okay.
See, men, to me, you guys stand out. If you are the king, it doesn't matter. You can be a king without a queen, as God would have ordained it.
Really?
You are,
Really?
yes. You are the movers. You guys determine how this begins and how this ends.
Right.
And that's how important this is.
Right. Correct.
But we cannot
And
negate.
I believe that to my core. So I am just saying, you know, I think men give too much credit to everything else. You don't know how powerful being a man is. A lot of men, you give too much credit to women, to children, to everything else. Being a man in itself is enough.
Cheryl, do you know that a man's sole purpose is to provide, protect, and all that stuff? So if the people who he's providing for and protecting him is undermining him, that kills him. So a man, you could say a man could be a man with all those stuff, but without us doing those things, that's part of our purpose. So if the people in our life don't recognize us, doing that kills us. That's one of the problems men have, not being recognized for his what he brings.
I understand that, and I agree with everything that said with Father's Day.
So-
and
so-
everything, and it is all true.
And so I understand where your perspective is. We shouldn't do this. We shouldn't do that. But that's our right, and this is how we see it. This is how we deliver it. And you can't control how we want to do it, right? Like Sidney said, we would have gotten there. We just were. I mean, BJ said it, but both of them said it. We would have gotten there. We just was addressing some of the misconceptions or some errors that was being put out there. You know, when you see foolishness, you got to stop foolishness in its track.
Right.
That's what we was doing. That's all it was. And now you come on and we further take the foolishness even further.
Take all our time now.
And eat up all our
You trying to finish, but you take all our time.
Eat up all our time. Eat up all our time. See, you know how much time I keep saying good. You know how much time I keep saying, okay, thank you, Cheryl.
You know what? Goodbye.
We do appreciate you, Cheryl. We do appreciate you.
No, you guys need to come to the show next week and make sure the content is really about looking at things through the eyes of men.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Enjoy.
You know the crazy thing about that? Through the eyes of men, we do think about women. We
All
do
the
think
time.
about how the female.
Say that again. Say that
Through
again.
the eyes of men,
Say that again.
we do think about women. We think about how they perceive us. We think about how they receive us.
Yes.
We think about the younger ones who look up to us, the ones we are father figure like too. Like we think about all of these things. So we cannot negate that men and women are not in coexistence. So when we talk about things through our eyes, it is in some way influenced or supported or unsupported by women. And we have the right to mention females just as well as women mention us to the dirt.
Oh,
It's amazing because she
yeah.
was saying, I was listening to her, she was saying we give too much, can't remember exactly what she said, but too much time or attention to women and all these other things. She's like almost like take control or you
Right,
command
she
certain
boxing
things.
us in.
It's like you want us to be hard all the time. But nobody wants a man who's hard all
No,
the time.
no.
Could you imagine you just coming home hard all the time? It's a man thing, it's me. Here's my food. Hey, run this water.
Right.
Do it. Like, you don't want that.
No.
You want to be hard at times, and then you want to be soft at times.
Right.
You know, you want to create this balance. And then she's one woman. That's her perspective in one way. And I just was listening to the two guys who call in, and listen to the one woman
who called and see what how different the conversation was,
you
right?
see the difference? Like okay. Let's say we do decide to be a little soft and a little mushy and whatever. We really come out a little soft. You know, everybody else is a bunch of sissies on the show. You know what I mean? Like, we can't even express ourselves and
The way
say
we
what it
want
is,
it.
what's
Right.
on our mind. We still have to do it in a control. Like, talk about things really through a mind's eye. That's what I want to hear. I
Yeah,
want to hear
right.
it through a mind.
Trying to
I wanna
control
hear this
again, it's all about
like,
control, right?
Listen to what we saying.
And listen to that you he's talking about even if you look at in the Bahamas, our society, do you say we are more of a matriarch society or a patriarch society? Meaning, does women have more of a stronghold in getting people to step in line, or men?
Wow.
Without having to use force.
Right.
Wow.
I mean, it's more the women because you have the Grammy, who they say, oh, Grammy used to do this and do that. Or mommy say this. Mommy say, it ain't so much what daddy say. It ain't so much what granddaddy say. You hardly say what you never hardly hear them say what granddaddy say.
Man, listen, I was going to be one of the questions I asked you, do you feel here in the Bahamas, it's a man's world? Because, they say, oh, it's a man's world. You remember that song, right?
Yeah.
James Brown. And then, or do you feel it's girl run the world? Who run the world? Girls. If you look at laws and jobs and things, and who do you think
Caters more to.
it's catered more to?
I don't know. From what I see across my screen, across the scene, everything being people getting highlighted, promoted, and stuff, and it's more women.
Female, right? Because if you look at the court system, right, it favors the mothers more.
Right.
And they're going to say we complaining about women now, but I'm just saying how men are just being marginalized, how we're being so undervalued.
Right.
In the court system, if a man and a woman go to court for a child, the court automatically assumes that the mother's the best parent. So they award the mother custody, even if they entertain hearing the man's side. If altercation happens, and as a police officer get involved, they automatically assume the man is the aggressor. If the man reports the woman
He's a
assaulting
sissy,
him,
buddy.
he's a sissy, they laugh him on the jail,
Go
they
handle
laugh
your
him on the
house.
court.
Go
On
handle your
the
house.
job, the women are catered more too. They're gonna say we complain about men, right? I mean, complain about women, but it's so, this is life through a man's eyes. We're not being appreciated. We don't feel appreciated. We don't feel like we're being valued. And what incentive are we giving to our little boys to say, grow up to be good men? But in spite of that, we still do better. Go ahead.
And I just trying to wrap my head around, because like we saying, if you affirm us and treat us like a king, our women,
We
you
reciprocated.
can get that reciprocated.
Definitely.
And then like we telling you this, we telling you what
Cheat
we
code,
want
give
to
it a
tell
cheat
you.
code.
They say, nah.
And then you can say, but you say you can be a king without that. Like, listen to what we saying. Listen to what we saying instead of what you have in your mind and what you think. Listen to what it is we saying.
Yes.
Try it at least once.
Just try it.
try it.
Yes.
Just try it.
You know, society, and I'm going to be probably on the female side a little bit of this, right? Their view of men didn't just pop out of nowhere. There were a lot of garbage men. There were a lot of garbage men. But I can speak for myself. I said, I will do, my father taught me the best lesson in the world. Don't do what he did. And I can be on the right track. I don't want my kids to look at me the way I looked at my father. So that led me on the path to being a better man. And then getting involved in church and finding my purpose. Now I know what a man is. So I can move in that vein of a man. With or without the woman, I know what I have to do. Because God told me to do some things, whether she submits or not. I still have to line up. But saying all of that, the affirmation makes it easier for me to do that. It makes me want to do this, right?
Right,
To know
motivation.
that when I do in spite of, she sees that. My children see that and say, Daddy, boy, I really respect you. I love. When my children come to me and tell me, boy, Daddy, I love my daddy, or I hear them
Yeah, man.
bragging with me, you know what that is doing to me? They don't have to give me nothing. I don't need no gift or nothing.
You know, just like Bennett, when you have your child, when they was like 2, 3 years old, and even now if they still just do it when they older, well, when you walk through that door, no matter how your day was, and they come and say, Daddy, Daddy,
Yes,
hug
sir.
their leg, and they
Yes,
open-
sir.
Man, that's the
best feeling in the world.
Man. You
To
know what I
feel,
mean?
to be seen,
You know?
appreciated.
Yes. You know?
That's what most men. So when we say we don't want the gifts, we truly don't want those gifts and all that big hoopla. We don't live for that. We live for the affirmation, the I love you, I respect you, I see you. You know, I see your efforts, even though you might have missed the mark. Don't bring it up.
Listen.
I see the effort.
Listen, my mother did a hell of a job with us. 4 kids, working at the bar, you know, below minimum wage. She did a hell of a job. And I heard I heard this before, that women say, or women say that I'm the mother and the father.
Yeah.
That's untrue.
Yeah.
You're the mother. You know what I mean? You can't be the mother and the father.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's confusing to the kids too.
Certain things my mother couldn't teach me. She did the best that she could do. She raised me, yeah. But certain things, what I learned, my mother couldn't teach me that. You don't even understand that as a woman, what it is that men go through and stuff.
No,
You
no,
know?
could never.
So as I value women, like you say, you pick up women. I value women. They do an excellent
hell of a
job.
job.
Now let's think
Hell of a
about
job.
this though. Like how you saying that just now, it came to mind about, I guess, a month or 2 ago when we started seeing a string of suicides among men. Right? So then we've been hearing about this talk about we have to really look into our men, look after our men.
Mental health,
Right?
right.
So, like you say, we don't get a chance to say it often. We just are expected to deliver.
Yes,
Whether we have the skills or not, as long as we are men, we are expected to deliver.
that's right.
Right.
Use
You know?
man. Use man. Man up.
Right. And it's not often, I can't say how many women would try to find men who are good role models to help raise boys up if they don't have a man there. But they still expect us to do things.
Yes.
Not trying to search and understand to see this man has certain capabilities, and then if you don't see it, if this is someone that you have with your partner, how can I help bring this out in him?
Right.
What can I watch to
Right.
better me, to better him?
Because she can benefit, and then
In the end, it's gonna work out full circle.
I have a comment here, right? Y'all tell me what y'all think about this. The king comes before or without a queen. It is the king that makes the queen. So the king should not look for the queen to make him feel like a king. However, when the king makes the queen feel like a queen, because he's the head, she then reciprocates it to him. If a king does not make his woman feel like a queen, it would be impossible for her to see him as a king. Listen, I can say this to you all women, all right? Yes, men are the head. God made us first, and he put some stuff on us. But he made you as our support. You supposed to support that man, lift him up. You want this man to go break his back, and you come home and what? He's supposed to come home and lift you up too and make you feel like a queen. And that's the only time you can make him feel like he worth something is when he make you feel that way. Wow. Wow. I thought only children used to do that.
But guess what? They ain't gonna do that. They ain't got that mentality on their job.
No, no, that's right.
They ain't got that mentality with their boss though.
Talk it. Talk it.
I just saying.
But
You know,
say something?
we could be the king, like she was saying, yeah, without them we don't need the women to do this and we could do that. But let us be the king and let us just be making decisions for us or what we feel is right all the time. They ain't gonna want that.
No,
That's
he
true.
controlling.
Agree, yeah,
Who you
he
think? As a
controlling,
slave?
he this and
As his
that.
child? As your child?
So for that comment, I think it's mutual, man. This is a relationship. It's mutual.
It's a partnership.
Yeah, you could make me feel like a king. Yeah, I can make you feel like a king. Let's do it together. Let's do this together.
You know, you are so right. God gave both of us commands. And he didn't say a man only supposed to do this when the woman do it, or the woman should only do this when the man do it. He said this.
Those are no conditions.
Men, you supposed to do this. Women, you do this. So that comment what she made was just, that's not biblical at all. That's worldly.
Exactly.
That's grounded in the word.
Exactly.
So the world will definitely support on that. Now, if you're a Christian, you're in error. So, we producers telling us we got to wrap up now, and no,
get it.
go ahead.
Okay, so there's another part too, right? Money is it's a situation too. When we don't have money, we feel some type of way because it feels like we're almost powerless because you're looking to us to give, right? You're looking for us to supply, to provide, and if we don't have it, we gotta find a way to get it. Because not all women will work like together with you and be like, let's see how we can make this work. I know you're trying, let me try something as well. Let's figure it out. Not all women like that. That's why it also depends on who you have as your queen.
Yes.
Or who you was attached to, because they could be held riding on wheels, trying to rest.
right.
That's a bit like. So especially also too, when the woman is making more money than the man, how is she supporting him? Does she even still respect him because that little thing is a little bit more than what he makes?
Yes.
And then there's the other side of that is some men, if the woman making more money than them, they don't feel as much as a man because they can't provide as much as they wanted to, or they had promised in the dating phase, I can make sure you're Jew straight, man. You
Right.
could be a housewife and stuff. But now life ain't happening that way. So
Right.
it's all these little things from our eyes and mind that we gotta take on, that we go through. And then sometimes you can't see the root of it because it's several different reasons. And then another thing, having a secret account with women in house, with women passed down from generation to
Generations.
generation, make sure you have that.
Error.
So women always have that backup plan in the back of the mind. That's just like
Error.
having, that's like saying,
Right.
okay, I ain't gonna have sex, but let me keep this condom in my pocket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cheryl.
That don't make no sense. You know something gonna pop off,
Yeah.
but you prepared, and that
let me-
ain't right.
But let me say this before you wrap up, Jason. I think fathers, you are, despite what society says, despite what culture says, I think you are doing a good job. Continue to do a good job. We do a hell of a job providing financially, providing roof over our heads, and all these other things. I just want to add in a little spiritual aspect to it. Just the way we go hard for all those other things, I think we should go hard for Christ.
Definitely.
So let's make sure that that our children are in church. Our children go to youth groups and go to all of these things that are Bible and biblical based.
Yes.
You know what I mean? When Paul told Timothy to put on the armor, he told that to Timothy. He didn't actually tell that to a woman. You know what it is? We go and we letting our wives or girlfriends, whoever, putting on that armor, and they got the belt of truth, and they got the sword, and they got the shoes and the helmet. No, I think we should put on our armor and let's go on the forefront in our families. So I would end.
Definitely.
Amen.
PJ, any wrap up? That's your wrap up, Sid?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's your wrap. You got a wrap up? You have a wrap? Go ahead.
Men, we are seeing, and you need to know that you're seeing. Even if they don't see you, you have to look in the mirror and tell yourself. Just like David encouraged himself in the Lord, we have to encourage ourselves.
Definitely.
Because those words could come and they could break us. And women don't realize how powerful their words are and how they can shift the mind of a man or cause a man to close up.
Definitely.
So we have to encourage ourselves to hold the fort.
Man, we didn't even get to talk about. We didn't get to talk about the emotional side, the mental health side.
That's
We
why I
let
showed
Cheryl
it.
eat up our time. We let Cheryl eat up our time. Let the enemy come right there and fought the plans of God. But anyway, Cheryl, I ain't call you the enemy. I say we let the enemy come in and thwart the plans of the Lord. But I guess we have to do a part two of it because there's plenty aspects we did not touch on, right? Because we want to touch on the young boys, the youths, right? We got to find a way to break the cycle of what the mentality of what the people have out there of man ain't nothing, fathers ain't nothing, you know. We got to give them something to look up to, something to aspire to, and that's where women come into. You know, may have made a bad mistake with the men they had children with, so let's make sure your son don't grow up to be that type of garbage guy.
Or
you know?
be feminized.
Or be right.
That's a crazy thing right now. I'm so scared of these boys right now.
The boys, they looking, because their mommy baby them, they looking for women to do that to them when as they grow up. So there's so much other aspects we didn't touch on, right? But I want to end like this. Men, don't buy into the noise of the garbage out there saying there's so much garbage men out there. There are way more better men than they're giving us credit for. I've seen men out there breaking their backs, doing all they can to provide for their families, even though they may not be in the home. Sometimes the mothers play into the enemy's plans and run the men out of the home, or be talking bad about the men to the children. Men, still do what you have to do. In the end, your child will see the truth. Don't let nothing stop you from being there for your children. Be the man that you are. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. Let's go there and let's take this world back, man. Men, you need it. You appreciate it. We will definitely have this conversation, take up a part two of this, and bring Cheryl in and inside the studio so she don't be eating up our airtime no more. So this has been Let's Talk. Thank you guys for sticking around. We'll see you again next week. Same time, same place.
See you when we see you.